Hello everyone, welcome back to Project Mastery Podcast. Everyone thinks AI requirements are about features, accuracy, speed, automation. But in AI, the real requirements are not features, they are safeguards. Because when an AI system is biased, unsafe, or can't explain itself, project managers get blamed first. Today, you're going to learn about trust and test checklist you can run on any AI project before it ships. Here's the pattern I've seen again and again. The demo looks great, the pilot numbers look decent, everyone celebrates. Then production hits, data changes, edge cases explode, user complains on social media, legal asks questions, and suddenly the meeting becomes, why didn't we anticipate this? So let's fix it with a checklist that turns you from feature project manager into AI delivery leader. Think of AI delivery as two tracks. One is trust, the other one is test. When we talk about trust, it's about user protection and accountability. When we talk about test, it's about evidence, validation, and ongoing monitoring. If you only do track 2, which is test, you might ship a technically strong system that violates user rights. If you only do track 1, you will have great policies but zero proof the system works safely. You need to run both tracks. Trust number 1. First, non-negotiable, explainability. If a user asks, why did the AI decide this? What do we say? Explainability has levels, global explainability and local explainability. Global explainability means the model's general logic, top factors, typical behavior, limitations. Local explainability means why this decision happened for this person. The rule of thumb, the more the decision affects someone's life, money, access, safety, health, the more you need local explainability. And here's the trap. They ask for an explanation but don't define what good looks like. So define it like a requirement. Explainability must be available inside the product, not buried in internal documents. It must be understandable to the target user. Trust number 2 is talking about contestability. Users can challenge decisions. Second, non-negotiable. Contestability, a way to challenge decisions. If your AI denies a refund, flags a transaction, rejects a claim, or deprioritizes a support ticket, users need a path to say this is wrong. As a project manager, define contestability like an SLA. Where is the user appeal? Button or form or chat or support? What evidence can they submit? What is the expected response time? Who reviews it? Human agent or specialist or manager? What outcomes are possible? Override or retain flag or policy correction. If you ship AI without an appeal path, you are effectively saying the model is the final judge. That is where reputational damage begins. Trust number 3 is about human accountability, RACI and escalation. Third non-negotiable is human accountability. AI does not remove ownership, it increases the need for it. You need a clean RACI. Accountable, who owns outcomes and risk. Responsible, who monitors and responds. Consulted, legal, security, compliance, domain experts. Informed, who needs to be informed, leadership, support, operations. And one crucial requirement, who can stop the line. When monitoring shows a serious issue, someone must have the authority to pause the model, roll back, or switch to a safe fallback. Test number 1. This is the track 2. Testing in AI is not one thing, it is 3 layers. Data testing. Is the data representative of real users? Any missing segments? Labeling quality and consistency? Leakage? Future data sneaking into training? Imbalance that will cause biased outcomes? No clean data evidence, no training approval. Data testing needs to happen even before model even trains. The second one is model evaluation. Not just accuracy. You will need false positive, false negative. Which is worse? You will need threshold decisions, robustness on edge cases, fairness metrics where relevant and permissible. Next one is system testing. Because models live inside systems, you're going to check latency and reliability, failover behavior, security and access controls, privacy handling, abuse risk or adversarial inputs, especially for GenAI. If you test only the model and not the system, production will humble you. Test number 2 is about monitoring. Because AI performance is not a one-time score, it is a moving target. Your monitoring requirements should include drift monitoring. Under drift monitoring, you have data drift and model drift. Data drift means inputs change, new trends, new user behavior. Model drift means outputs degrade over time. Performance monitoring. Under performance monitoring, we talk about model metrics, which is precision, recall, error rates. And then we talk about business KPIs, which is about cost, time saved, revenue, churn, CCT. And then comes bias monitoring. Watch for performance gaps between segments where appropriate and lawful. Track complaints and appeal outcomes as a bias signal. Alerting and response is also important here. This is where most teams fail. They detect issues but don't define action. So you need to define thresholds. What triggers investigation? What triggers rollback? What triggers retraining? Who gets paged? Let's take a project example. Imagine you are deploying an AI system that auto-prioritizes customer support tickets. The goal is to reduce response time by 30%, but your test and test requirements add safeguards. Explainability. Show users why that ticket priority is what it is. billing issue, outage region, urgency keywords. Contestability, request review option with the 24-hour SLA. Human accountability, support lead can override priorities and a risk owner signs off on release. Data testing, confirm training data includes new product lines and regions. System testing, ensure the model does not crash routing. Fallback to rules if confidence drops. Monitoring, track drift, new issue types. Track bias signals, meaning appeals by segment, and alert on priority errors. Know that you're not shipping AI, you're shipping responsible AI operations. Here's a recap. When we talk about trust, explainability level is well defined, global and local as needed. Contestability path built, appeal, SLA corrections considered. Human accountability is locked, RACI and stop the line ownership defined. We then move to test track, where we talk about data testing, model evaluation, system testing. Live monitoring happens, drift in performance and bias signals and alerting are considered. We then go back to rollback or retrain plan with thresholds and owners. If you want to sound like the most senior person in the room, say this line in your next AI meeting. We are not approving features today, we are approving safeguards and monitoring. If this episode helped, subscribe to Project Management playlist. Gain real project management wisdom. We have come to the end of the podcast. Hope the knowledge was valuable. Thank you for tuning in.